Wow. A couple of days ago when I was scheduled for this and Lynn got in touch with me, like, do we want to do it? I was honestly hesitant because I wasn't sure how ready I would be and how do we do business when we're just trying to take care of our family and the shopping situation, everything is so nuts. But I really appreciate everybody getting on the call and being willing to do this and to try the technology. I figured this was, I guess, the place to do it. So I haven't hosted a Zoom call before, so thanks for your patience in this. And I really feel like, I work from home a lot, and one of the reasons I joined Inforum was that I could get out of the house in addition to just working out, like to actually go out and meet people. So I think that this, I don't know if you're still interested in doing this more frequently. I don't know if we want to turn the Novi meeting into like a weekly check-in, but I think that there's probably enough interest out there because I know that the Birmingham meeting just flat out canceled the next 2 months. So it might be an opportunity for us to meet. So with that, I have just kind of my standard Are You Camera Ready presentation, and I'll take you through that. I'm going to share that screen right now. And where I have this kind of hidden, let's see, is on my website, which is just my name, carrielezotte.com, and it takes you to this Wix site. Okay, so you guys are seeing all this now, right? I think, oh wait, now you're muted. So
now we're seeing it.
Okay, so, and I don't know what, my computer is like, I'm not really sure the video card wasn't updated or something like that. So this is my website, and these are the images for my presentation. So I think I can start, I can select one here and we'll just go through this. Okay, so why this workshop? So I started this a couple of years ago now, just thinking that these tips, I wasn't sure if they were even going to be useful. And so that's, I started sharing this about just defining and owning your look, the secrets, which are so simple and what I take to video productions all the time, dressing for work and keeping current. So that's kind of what I cover in the presentation. And just a little bit on my background in case you don't know, I say that I've been producing for more than 20 years. It's actually been more than 30 years. So I started producing videos in high school, and I've done really the gamut, because here in Michigan, you can do everything from news and commercial work to television and feature films and corporate. I spent a lot of, I spent nearly 10 years managing corporate video communications at Comerica Bank. So, and then at the time when they moved their headquarters to Dallas, it was the time the film incentive was passing here in Michigan. So I was able to do some more narrative and documentary work. And now I find myself transitioning again into doing more camera ready coaching, because then I can actually help a lot more people, because these days more people are wanting to make their own videos instead of hiring, and not everybody has the money and like has $10,000 to hire the full-on crew to produce a 2 or 3 minute commercial spot. And I'm actually finding this to be pretty rewarding and fun. So one of the things I like to start with, this is, now I don't know, you can probably hear this, so I don't know, can you still hear me talking? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, you really don't need to hear what she's saying. And usually when I watch videos, I just look at the visuals anyway. So, but this is a piece that I shot with Kim Worthy a couple of years ago while she was getting the rape kits tested, and I was doing it as a background piece. And I just wanted to use that as an example because I like to talk about, my internet connection is unstable. So are you all still able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just keep going and I don't know, flag me down. So I like to talk about Kim Worthy just because she's such a total badass, and the work that she does is so important. And she's camera ready all the time. And when I went into this particular presentation she was giving, I had only read about her and seen her on television. I'd never been in a room with her. And so when I was there, like I had certain assumptions about who she was, and it actually turned out she was a lot sweeter than, and she was into her jewelry and the way that she was chatting up the crowd. It was like, I had an expectation based on all of her images, and it was not the full picture of who she is. And so I just like to, you know, start with that, and that whoever, any picture or representation, especially if you're doing a video for a corporation or a business, it's only a piece of who you are, and you get to decide who that is. So this particular image of her that's up now is when she was in the film I Am Evidence. And so just, you can tell by the other outfit that she had on was like her daily camera ready wear. And this is, now she's actually on camera. So she picked this, this teal that she knew would show up really well. But she still doesn't spend a lot of time doing her hair. And I think that, you know, I don't want my prosecutor, like she has work to be doing. And so I think that her look really reflects who she is. And I just have a lot of respect for her. So I like to include her in my presentation. So this is my daughter, and there's a store. This is just another thought, just to get you thinking about how things are perceived. And so there's a store called Zoomies where they sell like skateboarding attire apparently. And because of, I think she was 12 or 13 at this point in time, she sends me pictures when she's inside the dressing room so I can approve whether or not, like, what she can wear, because a lot of times it's totally inappropriate and ridiculous. So she sent me this photo, and she didn't know who Don Corleone was, and she looked at him and she thought this was like a nice old butler, a friendly old butler or something. So her ideas and assumptions are based on her experience. And so I had to explain that who he was, and maybe that was not something that she wanted to be wearing. Okay, so this is me, and this is one of the photos that I used when I met my husband. We met online, and so it's just another example. I gotta say, it's a little weird because I can't really see. I'm looking at myself and my images, and I can't really interact with the group. So this is a new experience for me. So this is more fun, I think, when I'm presenting in person, but you'll get the idea. So thanks for bearing with me. And anyway, my husband still talks about this orange ball cap, and you can tell, like, this was well, we just celebrated our 15th anniversary. So in any case, the images that you present, like, it's everywhere in everything that we do. So you like the old computer there too. I think that has a text on it. Okay, so what to wear? Oh, am I getting feedback? I guess it's all right. Okay, so these are 3 examples of different tops that when you're going to be on camera, you can see kind of like the framing that we all have. And you really want to, like this first one on the left, it has kind of a deep V. And that's probably not what you want, because it ends up kind of just showing like way too much skin when you get to that close up. I do like this second piece in the middle, and but it just reads as very casual if you're going to do a full body. This is like something you would wear over leggings. And then this top on the right is the one that I actually ended up with. These were 3 things out of a shopping cart I had. And what I like about that is the collar line is like really, it's at your collarbone or above. And that's just a good place because it helps frame your face. And then this particular top, it also has like a little bit of ruching detail. And those little elements, they really do show up and make a difference in a close-up. So today when I decided what I was going to wear, I mean, you can see like I have all these little anchors all over my top. And I also sell this line of luxury clothing called Etc., which is fabulous, but I just like clothes and shopping in general. And so this was something I found recently at a resale shop, and it was totally me in that it was green and has this bright green that is good to wear on camera, and then also has all these anchors all over it. So these little details, like, I don't know, I mean, obviously I'm talking about it now, but you probably registered this like while we were looking at all those Zoom images, and all of these little things kind of like, they speak for you even before that you say anything. So what do the anchors mean? I mean, I'm a sailor, and so I could talk to you for many days about that. So all right, so here I am with the governor. This is also an old photo, and what I'd like to talk about in this is the color of things. This is where an example of color really is going to make a difference. So you can see one of my main tips is do not wear black. Well, okay, you can wear black all you want, but do not wear it if you're looking to stand out in an image or you want to be noticed. So I do wear black most of the time when I'm working behind the camera, because if there's any reflective surface, I will not be seen if I'm wearing black. But if you're going to be on camera, you want to make sure that you're not wearing black. So in this photo, you can see these two ladies that are surrounding Governor Granholm are wearing black, and their bodies pretty much disappear into the photo. And my outfit, you know, I really am a fan of head to toe color, especially when presenting. This head to toe that I have on was probably not the right for that particular room, which I didn't know, but I was behind the camera this day too. So I kind of matched the curtains actually. Obviously, Jennifer Granholm, she knew exactly what to wear, and this was nearing the end of her time as governor. And so by this time, they've totally figured it out. I'm also really, you know, I'm a fan of Nancy Pelosi too, because, well, the way she dresses, you can tell like she's been doing this a long time. And some of the photos that they take of her, I mean, she totally stands out in whatever environment it's in. Like, she was just recently, I think, photographed, like, I think it was head to toe blue, but like the cover of the New York Times was head to toe orange. So she knows all eyes are on her, and she's dressing for that occasion. So we just want to keep that in mind. Okay, next up. All right. I hesitate to put this in here all the time, but I do like to talk about fit of clothing. And just because you're the governor doesn't mean that you're still not going to make mistakes once in a while. And this dress became an international news story because of the way that it fit. And I still am kind of astonished that nobody told her that it wasn't it didn't fit her right. So too small or too big, you want to make sure the clothes fit you. And also, when clothes fit really well, you're going to wear that as confidence, because you're going to feel really good in those clothes. So you want to just take the time and make sure you're wearing things that fit you appropriately. This is Rosemary Bear. And I put this up here just so that you can see, you know, she like photographed different outfits in her closet. And I was like, okay, it's got to be the red jacket. So you can see that in the bottom corner, she's wearing the red jacket, and also the middle image where she's standing out among all of these other women on this grid, that red really shows up. And then she figured out, oh, I'm going to wear red. So you can just see how that color kind of pops off the screen. So it's even more than just the one single image. Like if you're going to be in a grid of associates or with your company or something, the eye is going to go where the color is. So it doesn't always have to be red. I mean, Lynn's wearing a really nice pink today. And so good job, Lynn. Like you already knew. Lighting and location. So this has to do with like really thinking about your background. And I will say, like today in all the images presented, like I really liked Stephanie's background, because it looks like she's got something going on. And there's kind of also she has set herself up with a lot of depth where her room is, so that you can kind of, you see her and then you see all of what's going on behind her. And that's kind of what we want to think about as far as where you're being photographed, if it's your home or your office. And the other thing is really looking at the depth in an image. That I think I have one coming up that's also about that. Oh, this is an Amy McGrath spot.
When I was 12 years old,
is this too loud?
Exactly what I wanted to do when
I don't know. I don't know if I can mute that.
And land on aircraft.
Okay.
Because that's the toughest flying you can do. When I was 13, my congressman.
So I put Amy in there because what happens in that spot, she's got like a deep squint, and this is like a trick that I would use on set if the sun's really bright, and you can use it like if you're doing wedding photos or anything like that. So the idea is that squint will go away if you close your eyes and turn your face to the sun, and then that sun, because your eyes are closed, and I don't know why this works, but that squint will go away for a little while, and then you can open your eyes and it won't be there. So I don't know why they didn't do that for her, but there's that. And then also you can use, something to shade yourself as well. This photo, as far as lighting and location, I just wanted to show this so that you could see the way that a big bounce will work. And we set up these lights for this particular shoot behind those giant, they just look like giant white sheets. And that's something that you can do from time to time, even in like a practical location. So I was actually working with Dawn. She's not on this call now, but I did a quick little interview with her at the partner house recently. And all, you know, those white walls were surrounding us. And I just kind of like, just repositioned her into where that white wall was reflecting the light of the room on her, so that it's just it was a more flattering image. So anytime that you can use a white bounce card will help soften the light around you. You just really want to avoid hard shadows and hard light, and the white bounce really will help do that. Oh, this was my favorite quote from Michelle Obama's book, because especially as women, people are judging us all the time. And this was her saying, you know, she's got a whole team to help her, and we don't have a whole team, but there are people out there that you can go to and, you know, get a makeup consult, and they will help, you know, help improve your image as far as being camera ready. And I guess that for me, like when it comes to makeup, oh, here we are. This is the bit about makeup. Robin on the left, she came to set that day, and I looked at her and I was like, oh my gosh, what's this gonna look like on camera? And I had makeup on too. So I guess what I'm saying here is that a little or a lot, it really depends on your own personality, but you don't have to do anything, but especially if you're going to be on camera, you want to figure out like some kind of at least powder, because you're going to want to take down the shine. And then the other thing that I like to use all the time is some kind of eyebrow product, because your eyebrows really help define and frame your face. And so my favorite product is just like a brush with a little, like a powder. That's what I tend to use. But anything that's going to help define your brow. And when I present to men, I guess I tell them I don't have the photo. Oh, there it is. This is Bill Lambier at that basketball shoot. So men can also wear makeup. Most of the time for these, you know, for LinkedIn videos or for these Zoom calls, I think that the standard is really low as far as how good the video needs to be, because we're all still kind of figuring it out. I mean, for me professionally, because this is what I do, I think people expect that my video or my lighting, whatever it's going to be, is going to look a little bit better. So I'm saying, guys, you probably don't have to do makeup for your Zoom calls. And usually they would like leave set and be wiping their face as soon as they were, like before they even left the building. But we do it for a reason, because it does create a more finished and polished look. So even Bill Lambier wears makeup, you can wear makeup too. So camera placement. This is why you are on the call today. So here's Uma. And so this is a position that, you know, what is going on here is that the lens is below her nose. And you can be talked into this for different photos that you might be taken of you. I think one of the worst that I ever saw when I was working at the bank, and they just built a new ballpark, and they had the big tiger there, and they had the executives in front of the tiger, and the camera person like almost got down on the ground and shot these executives from the bottom up. And it was like it was just absolutely hideous. These executives looked terrible, and it's all because of the angle of photo. So even you can see in this next one, when they actually did the DVD cover box and in the movie, you can see that now the lens is above her nose. And that's probably my biggest tip for you today. And that's especially as it relates to this kind of call, is that if you are seeing, I'm just going to see if I can scroll through these images. I guess I can't really, it's hard for me to do this when I'm sharing my screen. But if you can see the top corner of your room, Like I can see that I can see Kevin's top corner, and I think the others are popping up. So if you can see, oh, yeah, I think it's Sue there. So if you can see the back corner of your room, then your lens is below you. And you really want that lens at eye level or above. So, and it's just a more flattering way to shoot your photograph. And that's kind of, what's been established in all of the television and everything else you've been watching pretty much your whole life. And you can do that too. So right now, the way that I have my camera set up, it's like I have my monitor, my chair is positioned slightly low. And so you can see that that lens is like, I'm looking at it pretty much at my eye level. And I would even prefer this. And you can actually see I think you can see in my shot, you can see the bottom corner of my room. I would say that's preferred just because it's going to be more flattering. And then you're not going to get like this whole under face thing that becomes a big part of the shot. And we won't be looking up your nose either. So that's the other major thing. Now, if you have a laptop, just grab a couple boxes of Kleenex or pretty much anything that you want in your room and just elevate that whole thing up a couple of, maybe it's a foot, but get that lens at your eye level. So I see you guys are smiling at me. So that's good, I guess. Okay, so here's Brenda Miller. We know Brenda, and I think I have another one of her next too. Okay, so these are two photos. Oh, look who's taking the photo there. So she's always encouraging people to take photos at her workshops. And there was one recently in Troy, I was like, I really should do a whole grid so that you can see all the different perspectives from all over the room. So I love her pink boa in this. And this is the shot that I took. And this is, again, with the depth. It just creates a more interesting image when you can see further into the environment and what's going on. And I'll just go back to this other one. There was kind of like it was some kind of strange exhibit. I don't know if these are like bombs or what these things are, but like the juxtaposition of those two things, it just didn't quite, I was like, shouldn't be standing there at all. It's so strange to me. So what does kind of work in this photo is that her head is not straight on to the camera. So if you're doing any still photos, like if you're doing a headshot, this one I love just because she looks like she's having such a great time. So if you look at my image now and I'm looking straight at camera and you want to do like a photo for a headshot, one of the things you want to do just to add depth to this photo itself is keep your eyes looking forward, but just move your head to one way, either left or right. I think I did read that somewhere that the left side is supposedly the more photogenic, but if you do that, it just creates a more interesting image in looking with your eyes and the way that creates dimension with your face instead of looking straight on. So that's just another thing to think about as far as depth in the photo that you're taking, and then also adding depth to your face. Okay, moving on, dressing for work. So because I've done a lot of casting, especially when I was at the bank, like we have to dress the customer and we have to dress the employees, and what do these people look like so that you can actually distinguish between them on screen. And I put this gal up here because I know when she was shooting, Empire was the TV show on the top, and then I forget the name. Well, obviously it's a cop show, but she was running back and forth between these two sets while making the stuff at the same time. And I know that these clothes, they help like automatically, what show she's doing. And so that's kind of where we are when we are making these split judgments on people in general. Like these first impressions are made in an instant. And if you're doing a still photo and it's something that's going to be a piece of collateral mailed out, like that is the image that's going to be there for a while. And so what is the clothes that you have on? What does that say about you? And what are people's assumptions that they're bringing to that? So like today, I feel like I'm a little bit more like this sweater with this collar. It's still business casual. When I go out, I feel like I really put on like the full business outfit because I'm trying to sell my business and sell my professionalism. And I think that, people, they view you by how you're, how you're put together. And so even if I don't get introduced to somebody, people are still noticing, and maybe in the future they'll hire me to do, to do video or to dress them or whatever it is, because of how I put myself together. So, but I wanted to be like, I was trying to wear something fun, and I don't know, the anchors make me happy. So keeping current at work, why and why not? So I feel like, so my husband, he's 10 years older than I am. And one of the things I had to do, and I kind of continue to do, because he miraculously has been the same size since, I don't know, since he was 30 or something. So he has a lot of these clothes that are also like 20 or 30 years old. They still fit him and they're still in good shape. But the style, because he's wearing pants that, like a lot of the pants from 20 years ago, they were just cut a lot differently. The clothes make him look older than he is. So if you just even update a couple things, and for women, it can be like just adding a new trend in earrings or a fresh color to your wardrobe. Like that little thing just makes you appear more current and more with it. And I don't know if that's important to you. It is kind of important to me, because I'm trying to, I'm competing with all these people that are making cool videos and they're in their 20s. And I just try and like keep myself looking fresh and current. Like because that, I feel like it translates to like being able to use current technology and understand new tools and services. So all of those, like those little details, people kind of you just register that. And so the other book that I like to recommend too, if you're interested in this, is Malcolm Gladwell's book Blink, and it's about how those impressions are made in an instant. So he writes a whole book about this. Oh, I like to include this because this was like a super stressful day in my life, but you wouldn't know it because it turned out perfect. So we didn't really know what kind of, this was a political spot that I did for Mayor Duggan. And I really didn't know what this woman was going to look like when she showed up, when we talked about her clothes, but this is who she was without any hair and makeup. And the mayor also, I didn't have a makeup artist on set. This was a union crew shoot. I think I had about 10 people with me. He did show up camera ready. So someone did put him in makeup and made sure like his ears were all trimmed of hair and extraneous things. In any case, I just put that in there because we ended up shooting it, and then he didn't like any of the video that was shot, and we kind of scrapped it for a while, and then it came back later at the very end of the campaign and got put in at the end. So it all worked out in the end, which is kind of how things happen sometimes. So the other thing that I've been asked a lot about, let me go to different websites. So the thing I'm kind of developing a little bit more on my website is the difference in the kind of equipment that you can get for different levels. So I guess, the left is like do it yourself. Prosumer is kind of the next level. So if you're going to do an event, there's other equipment that you can rent and use for the day. And then professional as far as what's offered there. And I'm still working on building out what these recommendations are. But I can show you, so this little camera that I'm using today, I just feel like I think I was on a call with Brenda Meller again, and she'd gotten an external, obviously I've like thousands of dollars invested in professional equipment, but I didn't have an external webcam. And so I was using, for our video chat, I was using the built-in to my laptop, and I was like, this is not acceptable to me. So I went out and I bought this little Jellycomb webcam. I think it was $35. So I think it just makes that little bit of a difference. And then I do have one of my movie lights lighting myself today. And so I'm still looking at what a light recommendation would be. But I think, for really a couple $100, if you're going to be doing video calls, or if you're going to be presenting about your business all the time, you just want to take that one extra step and like invest in a light or an audio or some kind of microphone. So this camera actually has a built-in microphone. So really for $35, I think that the camera mic setup really makes a big difference. I'm having trouble there. So these are a couple of the other things that I'm recommended. This one is like this piece here. I think you can see it. So your phone goes in the center here, and then this light lights up. And then there's another littler one that you can use for, that you can attach as well. That's the one on the bottom right corner. The other thing that makes a difference that I can tell a lot, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of videos for yourself, this little red piece right here, it took me a couple days to figure that out. And that's what I am kind of explaining in this video that is to the right of that image. So that little adapter is how you, so I plug in a $15 microphone, and I haven't added that to the page yet, but really for $15, you can still get a microphone that's going to work for you, that's going to improve your audio. So if you're using your phone and not a laptop or a computer, there's like many different ways to skin this cat and figure out how to do different videos. And I'm still experimenting with that. So the other thing that's on this page is this iDirect, which is kind of this, which I use to do interviews with. And this is kind of like my trick or my favorite secret weapon, because like a teleprompter, instead of when, you know, a teleprompter puts words in front of the lens, and so it looks like people are reading, they're delivering their content to camera. And I cannot stand the way a teleprompter looks, because I think unless you're a professional and you're doing it all the time and are very seasoned and practiced, your eyes just kind of go dead, and you can also see you reading in it. So I highly recommend not using a teleprompter. But when I use the iDirect, I can sit on the other side of the camera, and then I coach the person through their comments, and they, you know, you kind of forget that you forget that you're looking into the lens, and it looks like you're looking into my eyes, and it just becomes a really natural, heartfelt message. So that's one of the things that I use professionally. And I think that's kind of it. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm going to stop sharing now.
That iDirect, is it like a teleprompter, but just that you attach to your phone or something? What is that?
It is like a teleprompter in that it has so you put the whole mechanism right on top of the camera. And so one person sits on, like, it's for an interview situation or a director and talent situation, so that I sit on the other side and they look into it, and my face is reflected into the lens. So that's what they're looking at. They do have another version. As I was going through and doing some research too, that it's like on like an iPad as well. You can like put the iPad in front of that. So that one, I think I paid like $1,200 for my piece of equipment, but I think that there's like lower cost versions of it that you might be able to use too.
Any other questions for Carrie?
Looks like people are experimenting with their camera placement.
I know.
I can tell. Good job, everybody. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Carrie. I really appreciate all your help with this. This is great that we got to at least have our meeting still, and all the good tips and tricks. I definitely need to take advantage of those. So I did get everyone's email address that put them on the side. I have some of the other ones, and if you didn't send it to me, please email it to me, and I'll be happy to send out a group message with everybody so you can connect